let's talk a little bit about calories. Because calories is a hot topic when it comes to weight loss, and this is what's going to drive a lot of our metabolism. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, what is a calorie? How do you count calories? Anybody here count calories? Anybody ever tried counting calories with their nutrition? I'm sure it was a fun experience. What happens when we reduce calories? Okay, because that's what he talks about. Let's cut calories, let's cut calories. And finally, we're going to talk about a little bit of a different concept. We're going to talk about nutrient intake versus energy balance, because that's what everybody goes to. Everybody first talks about, okay, I want to lose weight, I want to lose fat, I want to improve my health. I'm going to screw with this energy balance equation. I'm going to try and burn more than I take in. We got a bit of a different approach here, and we'll see how that sits with you. So what is a calorie? On the strictest definition, it's a measure of energy. It's the amount of energy you need to raise 1 kilogram of water, 1 degree Celsius. Okay, that's straight from science. And how do we get these calorie contents that we see? 60 calories, amount per serving. Well, it's done by this calculation here. Okay, so protein carries about 4 calories per gram. Carbohydrates, almost the exact same. We got fat at 9 kilocalories per gram, over twice as energy dense. And then our favorite one, alcohol, almost as energy dense as fat. This is one of the challenges with that, a couple glasses of wine, a couple beers, a couple mixed drinks. It sneaks in a lot of calories really, really quick. So one of the challenges that becomes is your body becomes full, you feel full based on the number of grams of food you put in your stomach. So if you put 100 grams of food in your stomach to be full, if that's mostly fat, that's 900 calories of energy. If it's mostly protein, it's only 400 calories of energy. And remember, protein, 30% of that is going to get chewed up by just digesting the protein. So again, by adjusting what we're putting in, we can still feel equally full, but not have as much energy density in our body. One of the terms we're going to look at is we want to look at food that's very nutrient dense, but energy sparse. You look at fast food, sugar pops, donuts, all that stuff, it's the exact opposite. It's very nutrient poor, but very energy dense. Okay? So those are the two concepts we want to think about, nutrient content and energy content. So, counting calories. Okay, we've all seen all this stuff and we go, there's lots of systems out there that have point systems and calorie trackers, all kinds of apps, and you can count every single calorie that you want. You can blow your brains out if you want. But there's a bit of a challenge with that. So, number one, calorie counts are imprecise. There's 5 different methods that are accepted by the FDA in terms of calculating how much energy content, if you're a food manufacturer, how many calories are in that piece of food. Okay, so let's look at apples. One of those methods is going to say there's 83 calories in that apple. The highest method, there's 116 calories in that apple. We're almost freaking 20% variance there. So how do you know how much calories you're actually, we're talking apple, we're not even getting into processed food at this point. Tomatoes, 23 to 50, double the calories based on the formula that they happen to use. So that's number one challenge in counting calories. Not everybody absorbs calories all the same way. Okay? So we look at our 1 gram of protein, it actually has 5.6 calories in it. When you look at an average and do a whole bunch of what's called a bomb calorimeter, you basically put the stuff in this enclosed box, heat it up, measure how much energy comes out of it. That's how you calculate calories. Okay? Everybody's going to absorb a little bit more, a little bit less. Food prep changes everything. Okay? A raw egg only has 47 calories available for you, but when you cook it, it becomes a lot more bioavailable. So that calorie rating that you've recorded into your Fitbit or MyFitnessPal or whatever it is, was it based on when it was cooked? Was it based on its raw? And which of the 5 methods did it use? I don't know. You're going to bake potato. It goes up almost double as soon as you cook that potato. Almost double. And what it is now the calories are more available to your body to be absorbed. Your gut bacteria. Okay? People with a specific type of gut bacteria, on average, will absorb more than an extra 150 calories a day. And there's no way to tell which one you've got. I'm sure there is, but I'm not sure if it's a pleasant experience. On top of it, people are really, really poor at eyeballing. Okay? You're supposed to have, 1 tablespoon of this. I know what a tablespoon of peanut butter is supposed to look like. I can remember when I was dieting as a bodybuilder, and I was supposed to have 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. That's a tablespoon. I know what that's all about, believe me. When you're hungry, it's amazing at how influential, 1 cup can all of a sudden come up like this. Sure, it's 1 cup, maybe a little bit more. Okay? So it's very, very difficult. Counting and measurement is very time consuming. Again, when I was competing, there wasn't a bite of food that went in my mouth that wasn't weighed or measured in some way. And that took 3 to 4 hours a day. In terms of prepping, measuring, it was ridiculous, a full-time job. So, what are we gonna do? Okay? One of the challenges is people wanna cut. When they start out with these nutrition programs, that's it. We're full of energy and willpower. We're gonna cut this, we're gonna stop this, we're gonna cut our calories. And what happens? We lose a bunch of weight, which is great. But what happens when you go back to normal? Anybody ever seen the show Biggest Loser? Anybody ever heard about the aftermath of The Biggest Loser? And how people have rebounded so bad? And a lot of times on these extreme calorie reduction diets, they're not sustainable. And what happens is something's changed in your body, and then people often, when they go back to normal, they either return to their previous weight, and oftentimes they shoot past it. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a little bit different strategy than cut calories. What happens when you cut calories? Your body's pretty smart. We've survived for thousands and thousands of years. As human beings, we survived through famines, we survived through all kinds of disasters. And why? Because your body adapts. You cut calories, the thermic effect of food is going to go down. Your body's going to become more efficient at absorbing it. Your metabolic rate goes down. Why? Because you lost weight, which is the goal, but hey, now we're losing weight on top of it. Okay? Your non-exercise, or your NEAT, will probably go down. Why? Because you're tired. You just don't feel like doing things. I'm not going to park at the back of the parking lot. I'm going to park as close as I can. I'm not going to take the stairs. I'm going to take the elevator. Same impact on your exercise. You cut calories too far, your exercise activity really goes down. Your intensity drops. Okay? And intensity is one of the biggest predictors in terms of rate of change due to exercise. Okay? Difference between sprinting and running. If you learn how to sprint and you sprint, your body's going to change infinitely faster than if you just walk. I'm sure everybody can appreciate that. Okay? Your body gets a lot better at absorbing calories. Hunger signals go up. It becomes more and more difficult psychologically to resist things. Your cortisol also raises. What's cortisol do? It causes water retention. So now all of a sudden you spent 3-4 weeks on this calorie-reduced diet where you're hungry, you're tired, you don't feel good, and now you're also gaining weight. You're feeling softer. Why? Because you got water there. Another kick to the old mental side of sticking to this. So now let's add exercise into this. What's exercise going to do? It's going to crank your appetite up. It's going to further increase your body's ability to absorb calories. Why? Because your body's smart. It knows what it needs to survive. You're going to drop your RMR even further. Why? Because you're burning all these calories. Your body's like, I need so much to live. And you're even more tired during the day. So what's happened? Did you damage your metabolism? Okay? And that's what a lot of people get worried about. They're like, oh my God, I did the starvation diet. We used to see it in fitness competitors a lot. Okay? And they would diet really hard, and all of a sudden, you'd come off after 8, 9, 10 weeks of really hardcore dieting, and then you blow up. I can remember after my first bodybuilding competition, I lost, I can't remember how much, but it's probably about 30 or 40 pounds over the course of 12 weeks. Well, I gained 40 pounds back in 5 days. Yeah, I didn't have ankles. And it was just, my skin hurt, it swelled so much. Why? Because as soon as my competition was over, I went and I was a machine, whatever food. Whatever I could put in my body, I was eating. Because I'd spent so long not having it. And this is part of the problem. So you don't damage your metabolism. What you got is through what's called adaptive thermogenesis. Your body's adjusted all these things. So if we look at patient A and patient B, same age, same height, same activity level. Patient A was 160 pounds, been 160 pounds their whole life. And that's kind of where they've been. Based on a calculation, okay, they're going to need approximately 2,200 calories a day to maintain their body weight. Patient B, everything's the exact same. But they were 190, now they're down to 160. Their body is going to require about 10 to 15% less calories because of the way their body has changed to maintain that same weight. So now this person, so you go on, you calculate, okay, I want to be 160 pounds and this is how many calories I need. Well, if you come up with this number, but your body only needs this number, we're in an energy surplus. Okay? So you didn't damage your metabolism. This is why changing habits, changing the way you approach nutrition, learning to cook, shop, prep, and make that food available for you is the way to make this a long-term strategy. Okay? Versus we're just gonna hit a specific target, and once that target's over, we're back to normal, and guess what your body's gonna do? Your body's going back to normal. Okay? It's always going to win. So what do we focus on if we're not focusing on our calories and we're not trying to reduce our energy balance? What we want to do is we want to focus on nutrients. Okay? Rather than worrying about, am I having, this many grams of, or this many calories of this, and this many calories of that, and how much calories did I burn on my treadmill and stuff? Let's make sure we're getting enough protein. Let's make sure we're getting enough carbs. Let's make sure we're getting enough vitamins and minerals and nutrients, good healthy fats. Because it's amazing the way your body can function when you give it all these things. Your body's dying for these things. If all of a sudden you start to give it these things, it will allow fat to release. It will allow you to build muscle. It will allow you to build bone density. Why? Because it doesn't have to think about trying to drive you to get all the nutrients and stuff you need. Okay? Nutrient poor drives hunger. Remember before we talked about food out there. There's a lot of food out there, fast food, processed food. Very, very calorie dense, very energy dense, very nutrient poor. So your body's smart. It knows what it needs. It knows I need this much vitamin C, and I need this much magnesium, and I need this much protein, I need this many healthy carbohydrates. And so what does it do when you feed it nutrient poor stuff? It revs up your appetite. And it says, if you're gonna eat 500 grams of all this nutrient poor stuff, I tell you what, I'm gonna make you eat 1,000 grams so I can get the minimums that I need. This is why when you eat McDonald's, 20 minutes later, you're hungry. Because your body's like, I didn't get it, I need more stuff. I need these healthy stuff. Healthy fats, good protein, healthy carbs, they're gonna sit with you a lot longer. Because your body's like, hey, this is what I need, I'm good. I've got my balance. A lot of people may be energy balanced, but very nutrient poor. I'm sure everybody knows one of those people who can eat whatever they want and they never gain a pound. They stay ripped. Now we hate those people. Okay, good enough. But one of the challenges is, 20 years old, 30 years old, maybe even into 40. But what's happening inside their body is there's a lot of debt they're building up. And it's gonna come due eventually. Because your body can only keep up for so long. This is why it's so important to get your body functioning optimally as soon as you can by giving it the things it needs to do that. All right? So, any questions so far? Reasonable? All right, good. All right, so let's look at some of the important nutrients and get a little bit deeper for why these recommendations exist.